It is a frosty morning. Prepping a container that has the rootstock in it that I want to graft onto took a lot longer than I thought it would, so that kind of just turned into its own video. I'll leave a link down in the description or up in the cards if you'd like to watch that if you haven't already. So first, let's go take a look at the rootstock and see what variety I want to put on which. Here they both are. This one I would like to be the one that's going to be taller, which is the variety is called a Disso. And then this one I would like to be, that's the one that kind of stays a little bit lower, and that variety is called Calypso. But there'll be two varieties in the container, which means they'll cross-pollinate one another, which should be pretty good, and I'll have more apples. Can't go wrong with that. I'm going to start with this one, so I'm not bumping into this graft when that's all finished. Now we just got to find a scion that's about equal thickness to about down here, I'm thinking. I would like to go as low down as possible, just so that as much of the tree as possible is going to be the variety that I want. Same thing here. I would like to keep them fairly similar height. I don't know, maybe somewhere along here. Same thing on this side here. Alright, so about a pencil thickness. So fortunately, unfortunately, my tree is loaded with fruit buds, which you ideally don't really want when you're trying to graft a tree. So this is one of the few that doesn't have any fruit buds on it. So I'm gonna pick this one. It seems to be the right thickness. So yeah, that's the one we're gonna select. It's very straight, which I like. Snatch that. Leave a little bit of that growth. I forgot what the name is for it right now. That little growth point right there, so it can heal properly. And there we go. That's pretty good. I'm a little nervous. I don't want to mess this up. So first I'm gonna take this little thing away. I use this to prop it up because it was kind of slanted over. So I'm gonna make my cut. I'm gonna make it a little higher. I'm gonna use what's called a cleft and wedge graft. So I just made my cut there. Alright, so next I'm going to split the branch using my handy dandy little utility knife here. Be very careful. Yeah, that's pretty good. So there we have our little graft. Now we just gotta slice this into a wedge. Go kind of like that. Do the same on both sides. That's the easiest thing to do when it's cold like this. So that's looking pretty good. You can see that red bark on the inside. It's pretty cool. Okay. So now, just gotta take this. Alright, so there we go. It fits in there nicely. I did not split it very much at all, so this is actually very tense. Should hold the graft pretty easily. Now I cut some reusable shopping bags into strips, so we can wrap this up nice and snug. Pulling as I'm wrapping. It's so chilly. Gotta be real with you for a minute. Being so cold and then tying off a piece of slippery plastic doesn't make it any easier. So take my advice and get some grafting tape, especially as your first time grafting, because that made it unnecessarily difficult. But I've got one more to do, so let's go. So this apple tree is getting really tall. I mean, for reference, this is probably about 10 foot, about 3 meters tall. So that's, even for me, that's a little bit tall. But it's got a lot of really good scions on there. Like, these are all good scions. I'm gonna go grab that one right there. Let's see if I can do that. Alright, I got it. Perfect. So this graft is feeling rock solid, so I'm pretty happy about that. I do think that this is a fruiting bud, so I'll have to remove that. Leave it like that. Okay. Number 2. You want I grafted around here, so I think I'm gonna go just right there. This is a pretty comparable size, so that should be pretty good. In fact, it could be a little bit thinner. I'm gonna do that by pruning it down just a smidge. I'm gonna split it again very gently so it doesn't slip and cut myself. And now gotta create a wedge. Make sure I can get in here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Opens up easily enough. Let's cut our wedge. If I go down like that. The other side. Oh, that is perfect. I'm liking the way that looks. Okay, slide it in there. Oh, that is beautiful. Perfect. That is perfect. Now the hard part, the part that I decided to make more difficult on myself than I should have. I'm sure this isn't very difficult once you get used to it, but it's just kind of, as cold as it is, it's not the easiest. Alright, here's the second piece. Alright, just like that. Okay, tighten it up. I forgot to mention that when you make your graft between your rootstock and your scion, you want to make sure that the cambium layer, which is the green layer right below the bark, is touching so that they can fuse together and become one. A good example of this happening is from the apple tree that I just took out to make room for the rootstock. This branch is touching the main stem here, the main leader, and the pressure alone was enough to fuse it together. That is essentially what happens when you graft. Alright, sun came out a little bit, which is kind of nice because it's warming up my hands. So that's the end result. Came out looking really good. They're about equal size, which wasn't really necessary, but that was kind of nice. They're rock solid in here. Very happy with that. Yeah, so now I'll post an update with its success or failure. I'm pretty confident though, I think it'll be fine. But I will post an update when they do come out in leaf and start growing. Alright, so now that I'm all done, it got nice and quiet out here, but that's how that goes sometimes. That was my first time ever grafting, and it was pretty fun. It was a little bit chilly, hard to wrap it all with cold hands, but it went okay. So now I just gotta wait and see how it goes and see if it takes, which I don't have any reason to doubt that it won't. But I'll definitely post an update video when it does happen, and it's all looking good. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you learned something from my first experience, and I hope to see you in the next one. Tot de volgende keer. Thank you for everyone that likes the video, comments on the video, is subscribed to the YouTube channel, and a double thank you if you also share the video around. I truly appreciate it, and that motivates me to keep making more videos.